Hey howdy hey everybody, and welcome to another wonderful audio commentary. I am not here with a typical crew that you're used to seeing when it comes to these things this time. I am instead here with the best person in the entire world.
Oh, yay!
She has been showing me a lot of things recently. She showed me the entirety of Avatar: The Last Airbender. She showed me the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. She also showed me the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Oh, I really wish we had watched those before you did your Incredibles thing, because the amount of Incredibles 2 comparisons in that recording...
It's unbelievable. For context, we recorded, spoiler alert, there's going to be commentaries of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They might already be released on her channel by the time this goes up.
Wrong!
But if they haven't been yet, they will be soon. When we recorded those, it was the day before part 2 of Incredibles 2, my Incredibles 2 series was going to be released. So I was basically thinking about Incredibles 2 100% all the time, nothing else, except for that chunk of time. I was hoping that when we watched those movies, it would be a chunk of time that I could escape from thinking about Incredibles for a little bit. Turns out... that so much about those movies, all I could think about was, oh, that's just like Incredibles 2, and this is all like Incredibles 2, so that didn't exactly
Except
go
worse!
Somehow.
It was... somehow it became the except worse, not the except better, it was the except worse to his infinite surprise. And it was both movies.
I should have waited until to make my worst movies video until I watched those piles of absolute garbage. Anyway.
Well, your rule is, like, what, one movie per series?
One movie per franchise.
Which one of the two would have made it?
Well, the thing is...
because there were two!
The problem is that I didn't even pay attention to the second... Like, you and I just started talking about random stuff in the second one, like, halfway through. Because it was so...
I think we talked about the economics of Marvel.
Yeah.
For some reason.
The first 10 minutes of that movie were so god-awful that I just disconnected from the rest of it. Anytime I started paying attention again, it did not help things at all. So I need to watch the second one again to make an accurate judgment. Unfortunately, there's no way in hell I'm ever doing that, so... I'll just...
I guess it's the first one.
I guess the first one gets its spot on the list. For the time being. Anyway, the point of all this is that she showed me a lot of great things. She also showed me The Batman, just to name a few of the movies and shows that she's shown me recently that have been great. But I can't say the same in return. I've shown her a few things, like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Back to the Future.
Yeah, I just show him nerd stuff.
I want to show her some of the movies that defined my childhood in the same way that Avatar defined hers. Starting, of course, with my all-time favorite film series, Toy Story, and I figured that since I've found a bit of an audience through Toy Story, that you guys might be interested in seeing us record a commentary watching through all 3 movies, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna record them all in one sitting. I honestly have not been this excited to record something since we did our Halo Comet Evolve stream back in August.
Yeah.
So, temporarily, before we get started, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. What is your experience with the Toy Story franchise? To give the audience a little taste of what your experience is.
I'm about to, like, stab a dagger into your heart. I did not like Toy Story growing up. My sister liked it a lot, which is how I ended up seeing the original trilogy. Because she really liked it. If she was going somewhere, I was going with her. And if it got put on, then I didn't leave the room because I had nothing better to do. So it's been, a decade? The last Pixar... The last time I watched Toy Story, I don't remember when the last time I watched Toy Story was. I wish I could put a pin in it. But I can tell you, I've seen the first Toy Story movie, like, 3 times. I've also seen the third Toy Story movie 3 times. I don't know why. I watched the second one. I don't like the second one. I've seen it once. I don't know why I don't like it. I just remember not liking it.
Which I'm fascinated.
Significantly. Like I already said, I didn't like the Toy. I wasn't a giant fan of the Toy Story series growing up. Like I didn't ever have like a hatred of them or like a strong dislike of them. They were just like the not my cup of tea. But I've seen them. But for some reason, Toy Story 2 just like significantly stuck out in my mind as not liking. So, we're gonna see if that changes. It probably will, because, I think, however old I was when that movie came out, or when I watched it, that aged me, it was stupid.
Yeah, and that's part of why I'm so excited to do this, because I'm always excited to watch these movies. But the fact that you may as well be new to the series makes it even better, because I get to show them to a whole new person. Obviously, you've seen them before, but like you said, it was so long ago and so infrequently that you may as well not have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I also never went out of my way to watch them because I just was not interested in, like, Toy Story. I did used to have not nightmares. I used to think my toys were alive, though. There was a significant period of my childhood where I convinced myself my toys were alive because of these movies. So,
if I had been your sibling and I grew up knowing that, I would have deliberately moved all your toys just a little bit whenever you weren't looking, just to mess with you.
Which is why I never told my sister, because she shared a room with me for a while, so...
Who knows how you'll react to these movies this time around, but I guess there's only one way to find out. So, without further ado, are we ready to get this wagon train a-moving?
Yes.
Okay.
As I stare at the cupcakes on the desk next to me.
Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. I can't tell you how excited I am for this. I've been looking forward to this for such a long time.
I think, like, these movies, like, now, like, as a kid, like, I didn't have much care for them, but, like, as an adult, as someone who wants to maybe go into animation someday, they interest me from that perspective. It's particularly the birthday party scene. Because every time I look at it, I find it hilarious how that was how they had to stage it way back in 1995.
I mean, another thing about way back in 1995, I miss the original intro, the classic Disney intro that used to open these movies. Remember that nice little castle with the... Now it's been replaced by the fancy new logo, and that's the version that's on Disney. I wish that the version on Disney Plus had the classic logo and it wasn't the fancy hyper-realistic one instead.
Oh, I remember this. You know what? Toy Story 3, when Bo Peep wasn't in it, I was so confused.
Really?
Yeah, I had to rewatch it I didn't get it until, like, my, third rewatch, what happened to Bo Peep. I think because I was just being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they say it pretty explicitly.
Yeah, again, I was stupid.
Did you ever play with your toys like this as a kid?
Did I? No.
Playtime with these of my toys was very similar to how Andy played with his toys, where he had a whole big setup, he invented a world in his head and gave everyone different roles. I had many fun adventures playing with my toys.
I mainly played with, Legos. Not played with them, really. I spent a lot of time building Legos.
The Legos were also a big part of my childhood. Specifically, I'm pretty sure I had every single Lego set for Indiana Jones that was available. Like, I don't think there was one I didn't own. I loved building Legos, and I loved Indiana Jones, or at least Lego Indiana Jones the game, so it was a perfect blending of the two. I also had some others. I have a lot of the sets from the Lego movie as well.
I didn't have Lego movie sets. I had a lot of Ninjago sets.
That's the one Lego movie I still haven't seen. I've seen Lego movie 1 and 2, I've seen Lego Batman, I have not seen Lego Ninjago because I just can't be asked to care about it, I gotta be honest.
See, Ninjago had a TV series that I was in love with growing up, so that's why I had so many playsets. The TV series is still running, actually. That's why I had so many Lego Ninjago stings.
It is fascinating to see how far animation has come.
And this used to take, like, what, months to render way back when?
If you look real quick, on the door it says, Andy's room keep out except Molly, so...
Aww.
It's a nice little touch. But yeah, those machines were on constantly, because it's such an intense, I combined hectic and frantic into one word. Just chaotic final act of the movie where they had to keep their computers running all the time to get it done.
Some of the machines had to run 24/7, 3 months straight.
And if there were any little hiccup at any point along the rendering process, it all would have just collapsed instantly.
Like when, they accidentally deleted the entire second movie.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if you knew about that when we got to Toy Story 2, because I feel like that's... A lot of people will say that, like, did you know that Pixar almost deleted Toy Story 2? And I'm like, yes, everybody knows that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Thank you for sharing this. Not at all. It's like that, it's the Geico commercial, right? Like,
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know Pinocchio was a bad motivational speaker?
You have potential! You have... Oh boy.
Also, I'm proud to say that I owned every single toy in the Toy Story collection.
You did?
I sure did. I will happily wear that badge of honor.
I had a Mr. Potato Head.
because they released the toys in 5 waves. Wave 1 was basically just the first movie. You had Woody, Buzz, Rex, RC, the aliens, and then a bucket of soldiers. Wave 2 was weird. It was like course correction for not including Toy Story 2 characters in the first wave, because it had Jesse and Bullseye. And then it also had Mr. Potato Head, and then it also threw Lotso in there. Wave 3 was Mr. Pricklepants, Buttercup, and Dolly. And then waves 4 and 5 I don't give a shit about because it's Toy Story 4 stuff. It's like Ducky and Bunny and Duke Kaboom, none of which are things you recognize. I'm guessing by your reaction that you did not own any Toy Story toys.
No.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if the answer to that was yes, since you didn't have a particularly strong liking for these as a kid.
Yeah, I had a lot of Barbie dolls. And Bratz dolls. And Legos. I had a lot of Legos. My childhood toy was Legos. Oh, you know what the great thing about being an adult? You can buy Legos. I can buy Legos myself now.
The thing about Legos is I love to get back into them, but it's time consuming and it's very expensive.
Which is why I only get like a set maybe once every few months. And like, it's one set, and I give a lot of thought into what that one set will be. That, or I'll just get like one of the little like $10 sets that they have and make like a little car. Go vroom vroom.
Also, Woody is standing in front of the shelf of Pixar shorts. Red's Dream, Tin Toy, Knick Knack.
You can really tell I wasn't a Pixar kid growing up.
Currently, you're listening to a Pixar kid and a DreamWorks kid.
Oh yes, one minor note here. Andy's
birthday party's been moved to today. Next thing we have is, I think I can definitely, if you shut this movie off, I can probably recite it by heart. This, 2, and 3. Of course Woody ain't worried.
I can't
He's been
do
Andy's
that
favorite since kindergarten. Hey, come on, pretend. Okay, stop. I should not do that. I should very much stop doing that. That's not gonna be fun to listen to.
You know what? The only movie I think I can recite I can't recite any movies by heart. I can recite... I've played so much Genshin Impact, I can recite like half of my character's voice lines by heart.
So you're telling me, $1 million on the line, if I played How to Train Your Dragon with no audio, you couldn't recite it by heart?
Okay, you might not be I could probably recite the intro. And
This is Burke.
I can totally recite. I've read the script of that movie too many times.
So you mentioned that you wanted to talk about the birthday party scene because of how it was framed. I'm assuming what you meant is that none of them have their heads shown, if at all possible.
And when they are, it's
all Andy.
20 little Andys. It's all Andy clothes.
They just change the skin tone and give them different clothes.
There's a black Andy.
All right. If I send out the troops,
I'm looking at this now and
down. Okay, save your batteries. Very good, Woody. That's using the old noodle. This was the first scene that was put into production for the movie. Probably because it was a real, kind of showed the essence of what Toy Story was going to be. And yeah, they are
look at all the little Andys.
Look at all of the man.
Notice how they're not on screen for all that long either.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them? Because
No.
I would still defend that the animation of the toys is pretty good. It's just the humans that...
Compared to the humans, toys must have been pretty easy.
Well, yeah, because they're inherently plastic by nature, so...
Yeah, and you can be a little unrealistic with their movements.
It's really genius when you think about it. They picked the perfect concept for a story given what limited technology they had. That looks like stilted animation, but it would be.
Oh, you know... I know a fun fact about the Army Men. When they were animating for the Army Men, do you know how they learned how to get their animations correctly?
Yeah, they tied boards to their feet and had to walk around the office like that.
I got some old sneakers, I got a piece of plywood, and I nailed the shoes down to the board, and we tried walking in this thing and videotaped animators doing this. It was that experience and the analysis that allowed us to convincingly animate the Green Army Men.
I thought that was so interesting.
I will be stunned if at any point today you bring up a piece of trivia about these movies that I don't already know. Consider that a challenge.
Okay.
I'll be legitimately impressed.
No!
A good soldier never leaves a man behind.
A good soldier never leaves a man behind.
There's the classic.
Oh my god.
It really is transparent. When you actively think about it, it's so transparent the lengths they go to hide the human animation.
They really just don't want to see the humans.
So how does it feel to be too old for birthday parties now?
I had a birthday party.
No, I mean like this type of birthday party. You have a whole bunch of people over at your houses, there's pinatas, there's a big present opening ceremony. Because like obviously there's instances where you get together with a group of friends to go do something fun for your birthday, but this specific type of birthday party.
So you're gonna make me sound really lonely and depressing. I don't remember ever having a birthday party like this growing up.
Seriously? I actually feel so sorry for you. You want me to make you feel even worse in a second?
Oh, fuck.
My birthday parties were the absolute best as a kid. We got a water slide for one of them. There was always pinatas. My dad was a cake baking expert for each yearly theme. Like, when I was super young, he made a Blue's Clues cake, an Elmo cake, SpongeBob cakes, Over the Hedge cakes. Like, he was the expert of his craft when it came to designing and theming cakes around whatever the current theme of the birthday party was. As far as birthday parties are concerned, like, adult birthday parties where you just get together with your friends to do something, you were busy for every single goddamn one of them in high school. Every single one.
I was gone every summer! Because your birthday's in the middle of the summer! Wait, were you finally gonna ask, like, the question of who's the older person in this group?
Oh, yes! Oh, I forgot! Alright, hey, everybody, all you in chat right now, if you're watching this live, over there on the right side of the screen in chat, you're gonna see a magical poll appear. Place your votes for who you think is older of the two of us, me or her. And then at the end of this commentary, we'll reveal who it is. Let's see if you can guess right.
Let's see if you can guess it right.
Thank you for reminding me of that. We said we were gonna do that in June when we went to go see Lightyear, and then we never did it.
Because we kept forgetting! No, okay, so you know that, remember my freshman year birthday party?
Yep. The one where I came bursting in at the last second and everyone cheered because they were waiting to start for me. Waiting for me to start the laser tag.
That was the closest I had to having a birthday party like this, because that was the first time since I was, like, an elementary school student, and I had enough friends to warrant inviting that many people for that kind of party, and I was so happy.
It was a blast. That was such a fantastic night.
Oh, we were...
except for the
got
pizza,
shot so many times. And at that time, I did not know you had allergies.
I don't think that's true. I feel like I would have told you before that point. In fact, I think I would have had to. Like, I would have probably said beforehand, I'm not going to be eating the pizza because, well, it will kill me.
If you did, then I just don't remember, and it was probably my mom.
Star Command, come in. Do you read me?
Why don't
I'm good with allergies now.
Yeah, well, I wonder what's changed in the past few years that might have let that happen.
We have 2 EpiPens on us at all time. No one's dying on our watch.
Hey, look, it's the real Buzz Lightyear, not whatever phony we saw this summer.
You know, I don't think this will surprise you. Buzz was my favorite character in these movies.
Understandable. Buzz is great. I love Buzz. And that's why I hate Lightyear, because they butchered him. Again.
This
is Andy's room.
Speaking of, like, Lightyear, it's very interesting to see how time travel is done across different movies.
It is interesting to see how some movies do it really well and some do it really shit.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up One Piece. One Piece does time travel really well. This is spoilers for, like, chapter 900, 800-ish of One Piece. There is a fruit called the Time Fruit, which gives the user the ability to travel through time. But the way that the author balances that is that they can only travel forward through time. So you can't go back in time and fuck things up. You can only go forward, which is a great way to do time travel. Get rid of the possibility of, whatchamacallit?
Time paradoxes.
Time paradoxes. Because if you can only travel forward, you can't fuck up things in the past.
They paid no attention to that whatsoever when they were making Lightyear. They also didn't pay attention to this on the back of the box. They didn't
What's on the back of the box?
Right, what's on screen right now,
There's a star on Zurg!
Zurg isn't supposed to be Buzz, guys. He's supposed to be an evil emperor. I guess you guys forgot that. I hope no one that directed the movie worked on any of these movies before. I hope that didn't. That would be really awkward if that happened.
Hey, a laser!
How come you don't have a laser, Woody? It's a little light bulb that blinks. Laser envy.
Blazer envy. I don't know if that was the movie or the you that said that first. Oh, do you have your tickets for Black Panther?
No, I do not. I have not thought about seeing a Marvel movie since Thor: Love and Thunder, honestly.
I will tell you about it And if you get a call from me crying, then you know how it was. This will probably be a good cry because I've heard this movie is very sad and emotional.
Well, at the time this is out, we'll know how it was.
Yes.
What do you think the first movie I ever saw in a theater was?
I'm thinking.
While you think I'm gonna watch Buzz Be Awesome.
This is the one scene that I remember watching. Well, not the one. I remember watching multiple scenes, but I remember this scene quite vividly.
The toy spinning around looks so stilted in retrospect, but it's such a good scene.
I mean, it was probably the easiest scene to animate.
Flew magnificently. I found my moving
That eye animation was so awkward just then.
That was falling with style.
I'm still Andy's favorite. Just keep telling yourself that.
Here's the first, well, I guess second of, because we talked over You Got a Friend in Me, this is the second of Randy Newman's infamous Toy Story songs.
I only remember You Got a Friend in Me.
Really? You don't remember any other songs?
No, I didn't realize there were other songs until just now.
Oh, wow. We are in for one wild roller coaster ride, folks. For those of you who've seen these movies before, you know what that means. I cannot wait to see how this goes.
What?
No, nothing. Ignore me. That's fine.
What?
Have you heard the infamously regurgitated phrase, "Why does Buzz know to freeze in front of Andy when he doesn't think he's a toy?"
Yes!
What are your thoughts on that?
I have none.
Okay.
I am empty brain. Smile.
One part of my Toy Story 4 series was kind of definitively proving that that criticism does not hold any weight if you actually look at what happens in the movie, and you'll get a little taste of
Ow.
It's so good. You get a little taste of why it doesn't hold much water after we cut to the next scene. Strange things are happening indeed.
Who's got my hat?
Look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Give me that.
Sharkman only has one line in the movie, but it's great. Alright, listen to this line right here.
It looks as though I've been accepted into your culture. Your chief, Andy, inscribed his name on me.
I have no idea what you just said. None whatsoever.
I've been accepted into your culture.
Yeah, because that's how he views the room. As far as Buzz is concerned, he believes he's crash landed on
Is he on an alien planet?
He believes he's crash landed on an uncharted planet and is being respectful of their rules and the chain of command while he lives among them. And the only rule that's a part of their culture is that you have to freeze in front of Andy. If you want a more thorough breakdown of that, you can watch part 2 of my Toy Story 4 series, but if you actually pay attention to what happens, it really doesn't. They do go to explain why Buzz thinks he has to freeze. This might be the most infamous scene in the movie.
Oh yeah? Tough guy?
At least from a comedic perspective.
Did he not think he could breathe until just now?
I love Woody's facial expressions. Like, Buzz thinks he's literally about to suffocate to death, and Woody's just sitting there like, you all hear something? Here's the infamous boss scene.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no. Buzz, look, an alien! Where?
Look at alien!
I've kind of ruined it for myself. I use that clip of Woody going, "Ah!" in my videos, so some people just spam that gif of him saying that anywhere, in any situation, no matter what. Like on my Discord server and stuff. At the same time, so it's kind of tainted for me, but at the same time, it's just so funny. I can't not laugh at it. Like the animation of them and it's all so fantastic. Hey, so you know how I am not only allergic to dogs, but I'm somewhat afraid of them?
Is this why?
Well, I don't know that for a fact, but I have something of an idea. As you will see throughout this movie, Scud is a bit of a terrifying beast.
I miss my dogs. I want to give my puppy a hug.
Oh, I don't. I'm hoping that I'll never have to come into contact with them. That's my life goal.
Fluffy and sweet.
They have very sharp claws and teeth.
And one of them was actually scared of you.
Is that why they ran right toward me?
Well, one of them wanted to say hi. The other one ran that way, but then stood at a distance and barked at you because she doesn't like boys.
Uh-huh.
Don't count on it! Oh.
Don't count on it!
I have an 8-ball exclusively because of this movie. I actually have 2 of them. I have the standard, or I had when I was a kid, I had the standard shake 'em up 8-ball where you shake it and then it tells you something. And then I had a pull string themed 8-ball specifically themed around Woody's
Are you gonna push him off?
But I had another one that was specifically themed around Woody's Roundup. It was nice and wooden. You could unscrew the top to put batteries into it because you had to pull the string and it would tell you something instead of being the standard shake 'em up.
Assassination attempt!
Well, I wouldn't go with assassination, just more like mildly inconveniencing attempt. I guess, let me just say, I'm very glad that they went with this version of the movie and not the original cut. Do you know of what the movie was originally going to be like?
No.
So, Woody was originally going to be a lot crueler. Basically just a repulsive character that you couldn't stand.
Woody, you deliberately threw Buzz out the window.
Hey, it's a toy world. Am I hearing correctly? You don't think I was right? Who said your job was to think, Spring Wiener?
Well, I just thought that you...
Just use this vast reserve of brain power to consider this for a moment. If it wasn't for me, Andy wouldn't pay any attention to you at all. In fact, my stretchy friend, you would have been hauled away to Goodwill a long time ago, so shut your mouth and get them off the bed. Do it. Now, Slink, or I'm throwing you off!
Basically the way I feel about how Pablo the Penguin is in the Halo show, except much, much worse somehow. So I'm glad that Buzz getting
Pablo the Penguin?
Oh, right. I guess you don't know the meme. So, the guy who plays the Master Chief in the Halo show is called Pablo Schreiber, and I just call him Pablo the Penguin, because Pablo. Penguin. I will call him Penguin when I make my series on the Halo show. So where I was going with that is I'm glad that Buzz getting knocked out the window here is actually an accident. The reason why Woody became so repugnant is that
Jeffrey Katzenberg, who at the time was chairman of the Disney Studios and had great interest in animation, would always in a story meeting be pushing for what he called edge. Snappy, adult, the edge of being inappropriate. That resulted in the Woody character being one of the most repellent things you've ever seen on screen. I mean, you couldn't watch it.
But the edgier it became, the further away it drifted from the original vision of the writers and the creatives that made it. So eventually they just said, screw it, we're gonna stick to our guns and our vision and ignore all the notes that Disney's giving us. And I'm glad they did, because it gave us this instead of the crap that we were gonna get, where Woody was an unlikable asshat the whole movie. I feel like I don't have to point it out, but A113, of course.
That's the studio, right?
That's one of the animation rooms at CalArts. A lot of animated movies will have, even just regular movies will have A113 in it. It is a Pixar tradition to have A113 there, but a lot of non-Pixar movies have that as well.
Oh, Dinoco.
Toy Story had Dinoco first. Cars ain't special. So, I don't know about you, but I've actually gone to get gas late at night.
Oh, no, I've done it. I hate it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's very never do that. Someone should make a horror game just about filling up your tank at an isolated gas station in the middle of the night.
I went and got gas off the highway on my way back from school. When, I was there until, 8 o'clock for some reason. I locked myself in my car because I got scared.
Yeah, like I said, it's ripe material for making a horror game. And it didn't help that the gas station that I went to in the middle of the night the pump was broken.
Yeah, no, I think I heard people trying to talk to me and basically catcall me, and I was like, no, I'm locking myself in here while my car fuels.
Usually you can just, usually just pull the trigger and the pump will just work continuously until the sensor detects that the tank is full and then it locks itself up.
Yeah.
Well, this one locked itself up every 3 seconds. So I had to stay there a lot longer. I can only do it in 3-second spurts of fuel, stop. Fuel, stop. I'm just imagining a horror game where every time the pump locks up, you look over your shoulder and there's a monster, getting a little bit closer to you. Seriously, someone out there, make a horror game about pumping your tank at a gas station in the middle of the night. Do it. I'll buy it.
There's probably one out there.
The local sheriff and I seem to be at a huge refueling station of some sort.
He's gonna punch you!
Talk about close calls.
This is the perfect time to panic.
This is another scene I've used a lot of clips from in my series, because it's just, the animation is so good in this movie. There's so much expressive poses and gifs that you can grab from it.
Because of you, the security of this entire universe is in jeopardy. What? What are you talking about?
A lot of people say this is the funniest Toy Story movie. I don't know that I can pick which one makes me laugh the most, but there's definitely a strong case to be made for the first movie.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you were—
Trust me, buddy, you don't want to be the real Buzz Lightyear. The real Buzz Lightyear is kind of a cock.
It's that strange. Wait, you've said that line before.
What, the cock thing?
You are a sad, strange little man.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I've quoted this trilogy so many times in my daily life. Do you remember the context in which I said that? Because I'm sure I've said it so many times when we were in high school. And it was probably to Brooks, so let's be honest. I probably said it to Brooks.
Almost certainly.
Sorry, Brooks.
I found a spaceship!
He's not wrong. He is not telling the lies. That is indeed a spaceship on top of the truck.
Oh my god, I can't.
Even just the reflection in Buzz's helmet. They still cared about all the little details back then.
There are no restraining harnesses in the cargo area. It will be much safer in the cockpit.
And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about how he doesn't actually feel the need to freeze in front of the humans, but he does feel the need to freeze in front of Andy because he considers it to be a part of the culture of Andy's room, but other humans, he doesn't view as a threat in terms of being spotted from movies.
Oh my god, he buckled himself in.
Yeah, smart guy. He doesn't want to take any risks being tossed around in the back seat. Buzz, pretty smart character. And this is why you listen to Buzz,
The toolbox.
Hey, Pixar, I got a question for you. Or sorry, Disney, I got a question for you. Why don't we have actual pizza planets in the real world?
There's probably one at a theme park somewhere.
No, I can confirm. So here's the thing. There was one at Hollywood Studios. I don't think you went there because I don't think you went there until after it closed. There was a pizza planet at on the streets of America. That face is so good. In Hollywood Studios. The problem
was this in LA or Orlando?
Orlando. It was at Disney World, Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
they have Hollywood Studios in LA.
No, they don't. They have Disney's California Adventure.
Never mind then.
The problem with this pizza planet is that it was absolute garbage. It's just I'll find a picture to put on screen. It's just a brick. It was just a brick building with some Toy Story artwork on the wall and the most pathetic arcade in the world. I don't understand. I was under the impression that Disney wanted to make money. I thought that was their whole thing. A Pizza Planet restaurant is just a free money vault waiting to be built. You mean to tell me you wouldn't want to come here? Like, obviously, I wouldn't go here because I would die immediately. That's why I've never been to Chuck E. Cheese. I would never step foot in it. Watch, you know. What I'd probably do is I'd get a hazmat suit, get all dressed up, and then I'd go to Pizza Planet just to be there in the atmosphere. I'm that big of a Toy Story nerd. They just built Toy Story Land in 2018 at Hollywood Studios, and there still is no Pizza Planet restaurant there. I don't understand the thought process. Even if you don't want to...
What restaurant do they have there, then?
They don't. They have Woody's Lunchbox, which is an outdoor seating area where you walk up to the lunchbox and then you order your grilled cheese
and there goes Buzz.
or whatever. But they don't have a proper sit-down Toy Story restaurant. They will. I think next year or the year after that, they're making Woody's Roundup themed... they're making a Woody's Roundup themed restaurant. That I'm excited for. But still, make a Pizza Planet restaurant. I will never eat anything there, but make it anyway. I just want to be in the atmosphere of this place.
You just want to exist in it?
Yes! I'm not kidding. I'm that much of a Toy Story nut. I just want to exist in that atmosphere. Like, this place looks so cool.
The claw.
You know what I'd probably do? I'd probably, if these places existed when I was a kid, I probably would have, because obviously I never would have been able to have my birthday party there because my parents never would have allowed that. But I probably would have tricked someone else into having their birthday party there, and then not told my parents where we were going.
If only you had a sibling.
Then again, as I say that, they let me go to your birthday party, like we mentioned earlier, and they also let me go to everybody else's birthday parties, and they always served pizza there every single time without fail.
Because pizza is good.
Because pizza's easy and cheap.
Pizza's really good, though.
Uh-huh. I'll take your word for it.
Pizza's fantastic.
Be
Out
the crane.
back.
Be the
The
crane.
claw.
Be the crane. I have a bit of a resentment of claw machines. I don't think you were there with me. I think it was just me and Neil. I was at an arcade with Neil. I did the claw machine they had there, and I grabbed a whole bunch of stuffed animals. It's like 3 or 4 of them, I'm pretty sure. It was euphoric. And then as soon as the claw was moving to drop them off into the prize slot, they all fell out. Every single one of them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Dumbass claw machine.
They're programmed to only succeed every, one in, like, I think, what, 500 games?
Yeah, the whole thing's rigged. You can engage your inner Squidward and be the crane. Be the crane, and it doesn't matter.
I think it's 1 in every 50 games.
Much like carnival games, they're completely rigged. Interestingly enough, my dad actually built a claw machine when I was super young. He flipped the table upside down, saran wrapped all the legs, and then made a pulley system with tongs and made a makeshift claw machine. It was really cool. So, you know how you said that I should have had a sibling?
Yeah.
Well, I always thought that too. I always thought, man, I wanted a brother or sister, have that nice intrinsic familial bond. And then I watched this movie and I think, maybe not. Siblings seem like they kind of suck.
This feels accurate to a sibling relationship.
Ariel, did your sister steal your toys much as a kid and chop their heads off and make mutilated toys out of them?
She didn't do that, but she did steal my stuff and then deny it. Half of having siblings is having your stuff stolen and then having said sibling deny the fact that the stuff was stolen.
She's lying! Whatever she says, it's not.
And also running to the parent, and then being told that's a lie.
Mom! Phineas and Ferb made a mutilated abomination toy! Oh, by the way, you never actually gave an answer to the question earlier. What do you think the first movie I saw in theaters was?
I was still thinking about, I was trying to do dates in my head. Was it the Indiana Jones marathon?
Good guess, but no.
Ah, dang it.
You get 2 more guesses.
When did this come out? 1 second.
I was not alive in 1995.
I know, not this one.
That'd be a neat trick if I saw this in theaters for the first time. Oh my goodness.
This baby gave me nightmares.
I was literally just about to say, you mentioned during the Halo stream that the Toy Story movies freaked you out as a kid. Would this part of the movie have anything to do with that, by chance?
Yeah!
Because honestly, it never actually... Oh. It never actually scared me. I don't know why. I mean, it was definitely spine-chilling. Like, I have vivid memories the first time I saw that spider shot and being really intimidated by it. But I probably would have chuckled at it in a, ooh, cool kind of way. But it never really terrified me at all. But I can completely understand why this would freak the hell out of any kid. Anyway, guesses, let's go.
I'm thinking Toy Story 3?
No! One more guess. You're gonna slap me when you find out what the answer is. You're gonna teleport to my house and slap me.
Can I get a year as a hint?
2009.
Or no? 2009?
Yep.
What came out in 2009? Okay, you're a Pixar kid.
Oh, by the way, you guys can play along. You're more than welcome to play along in chat what you think the first movie I saw in theaters was. I guess while she pontificates the answer to that question, I can say, originally this scene was going to be way longer of Sid torturing Woody. Basically, it was just going to show him being much more violent with them. Lee Unkrich said that
we ultimately decided to just cut into the scene right when Sid is interrogating. And the main reason we did that was we realized that our audience was going to be loving Buzz and Woody at this point, and the last thing they really wanted to see was them getting completely beaten up and tortured.
I thought it was kind of weird reasoning, because I assumed that it just would have been cut for pacing, because it works, you know, the idea that they can communicate what Sid is doing in a clear and concise way without dragging it out too much. And it's especially helpful because that particular torture method that they went with is a bit of what we call a Chekhov's gun. Alright, one last chance. What do you think it was?
Up.
It was not Up. So the answer is Toy Story.
Did they do a rerun?
Yeah, they brought Toy Story 1 and 2 back to theaters in 2009 in 3D as promotional material for Toy Story 3. They even showed a teaser of Toy Story 3 after the first 2 movies. That was kind of the way to get you in the theater to see it again, outside of just being in 3D. By the way, I wish Buzz actually...
I don't know what the first...
What were you gonna say?
Karate... What?
I was gonna say, I wish Buzz actually, like, the toy actually had a karate chop action mode.
It doesn't?
Well, here's the thing. There was a toy with the feature, but not...
Why is he quoting, freaking The Wizard of Oz?
I mean, because he's true. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home.
But there was a toy with the Karate Chop feature, just not the official collection version that I had. Because the thing is, if you were to try to make a real Buzz Lightyear toy, someone did a video about this, it was really good. It's logistically impossible to make. There's not enough room inside his body to have all the features that you need. Like, there's plenty of different Buzz Lightyear toys that have all the individual features, but none of them have them all. None of them have a fully retractable helmet and karate chop and fully extendable wings that go inside and fold up instead of just contracting inside, and the voice commands and all of that. It's a really complicated toy that you can't, at least with current technology, you cannot make it.
That dog model is terrible.
Well, that's called being in 1995. But, I mean, I don't know.
The proportions are off.
I don't know, he looks fine. He doesn't look amazing, but he looks fine. I vividly remember watching all types of toy commercials and getting excited about them as a kid.
Oh yeah, this is how he figures it out.
Not a flying toy.
Buzz Lightyear! Available at all.
So, there's part of the reason why I was so surprised that you had not remembered any songs is because of this scene.
That scene?
This one coming up.
Oh. What? I don't remember this song. Oh wait, I know this scene.
Infinity and beyond.
Though I think the last time I watched this scene, it was without audio.
Oh, so you missed half the experience then. I'd say you missed the whole experience.
No, because it was a breakdown of the scene, not of like the clip of the scene.
Ah.
And you know, YouTube copyright.
You know, this never really hit me as a kid. Like I knew it was a sad scene, but the impact of it didn't strike until I was an adult. But like my first time watching this scene as an adult, I got legitimately emotional. Like there were tears involved because it's such. You said you watched an analysis of it, so I assume you have some idea. But it's such a beautiful character moment. I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of my proudest pieces of writing is the part of my Toy Story 4 series, part 2 to be specific, where I break down this scene. You don't even need Randy Newman's music to make it work. It's just the nuances of his animation and the performance, the striking camera angles, they're all you need to sell such a pivotal moment in his character journey. But the score just kicks it up a notch and elevates it to a whole other level. It's the cherry on top of an already intensely effective sequence. And this is what I always talk about. If you have a strong foundation, really compelling character going through a logical and understandable journey with substantive build-up to it, then all the other superficial elements can work to bring your already great script to a whole other level.
I got close to
And the song works on two levels. If you think about it in the context of Buzz's character, it's appropriate on a very surface level. Pull it back out of the film, and you think about it in the context of life, it's even more poignant, because when you were a kid, you can let your imagination run wild, and well, she's gone, but I'll keep talking anyway because the scene is great. Like, when you were a kid, you could let your imagination run wild and sail beyond the moon, like I said. But as you grow up and you become an adult, you start to learn all about the adulting necessities. And you fondly look back upon your childhood days as you realize that you won't go sailing anymore. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. Now, I might need to figure out why she just dipped out of the call, and if I need to pause the recording at all. Or pause the video, rather. Or the movie. I can't talk today. How's everyone doing? I don't know if you'll end up hearing this, because I don't know if I'm gonna have to rewind this at all.
One eternity later.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
I don't remember.
Basically, you can hear it when the video goes up. Basically, I was just talking about how amazingly well constructed that scene is, and how the lyrics of the song work.
Oh yeah, how it was sadder as an adult, and then my internet cut out.
Oh, so you missed all of it. Wow. Okay, well you can listen to it when the video comes out. Imagine being that bad at Battleship. Look at that. Look at that board. Well, it's almost all misses. How can...
Oh my god.
You gotta try to be that bad at Battleship.
This is the scene where they think they murdered Buzz, right?
Oh my god, you spoiled it. No. But yes.
I'm like, and then one of them drops the line because of it, so they have to jump out the window.
Did you all take stupid pills this morning?
Buzz is not.
Oh how often I've wanted to say that.
Buzz is with him. Buzz is not fine.
Part of that sentence is correct.
Nice toys that you're not dead.
Because the thing is, Buzz getting all delirious here. Oh wait, hold on. This.
He literally threw a hand.
That's very funny, Buzz.
The arm throw is hilarious.
He's like, give me a hand. He's like, I don't care.
It's such a crap pun, but it's also really funny. The way his arm just plops onto the desk is great.
They're so stupid!
I like this image as a metaphor for Disney puppeting around the dead, rotting corpse that is this series. And most of the IPs they've gobbled up. Trust me, guys, it's still okay.
Aren't they making a Zootopia thing?
Yeah, but I'm not excited for it because it doesn't have any of the main characters. It's just a bunch of spin-offs about the side characters.
I haven't been paying attention to it, so... I just know it's coming.
I was excited when they announced it because Zootopia is amazing, but then I actually found out what it was and I'm no longer excited for it. There's nothing substantive about it.
Goodbye.
What I was gonna say earlier is that Buzz getting all delirious Like, it definitely functions as comedic relief, but it also makes sense as a reaction, because his whole world just fell apart. It's all he can do as a coping mechanism to try to bring some level of levity to it. And then when Woody shatters the fantasy, he just slips right back into a state of depression. And there's a very thin line to walk when it comes to balancing tone, because if you blitz through too many tonally disjointed situations, then it can give you a bit of whiplash. But the transitions here work because there's a bit of overlap between the emotions. Like, for instance, Woody using Buzz's arm is a joke, it's funny, but you also understand intrinsically how bad it would be if the jig is revealed, so him pulling the arm out from the side of the window is as shocking to you as the audience as it is to the other toys, which allows you to shift into a more sullen mood, which then already naturally leads into a more terrified mood in this scene, when you think that Buzz is going to get eaten by all the cannibal toys, which then leads perfectly into what's going to happen in a second, which is Sid storming into the room, because he's the most terrifying force in this house from the perspective of a toy. There's a really natural overlap between all the different emotions they try to convey, which is why, like I said, it's a thin line to walk, but if you can strike that balance, it works really well. Imagine having such irresponsible parents that let you light a rocket in your backyard. Your silence worries me. Your parents didn't let you do that, right?
No.
Okay, good.
I did light fireworks as a kid with my cousins.
But that's a controlled situation. You're not launching a rocket into the sky to blow up a toy. Like, this thing is explicitly said, like, hey, keep it out of reach of children because it's extremely dangerous. Obviously, they wouldn't have let you use this thing.
Oh yeah, I wasn't allowed to use a Roman candle until I was like 16. I was only allowed to touch sparklers.
I only lit a match once. I don't know when it was, but it was when I was a kid, and I was very scared of it. Like, first off, I couldn't get the match to actually light when I struck it against the box, and I was afraid it was gonna set the whole house on fire when I did it. Thankfully, I didn't. Did I ever tell you that for Halloween one year, there was a pumpkin outside one of the houses that I went to for trick-or-treating that had a real candle inside of it instead of a simulated candle like we had? Because of that, when we went up to the house, it lit on fire, and it was just a giant jet stream of flames that erupted in front of us, so we all ran screaming.
Pumpkins aren't supposed to be that flammable.
And yet,
I've lit a real candle in the pumpkin before and it was fine.
I'm not saying that the candle being in the pumpkin caused it to catch
No,
on fire.
I'm questioning what the contents of this pumpkin was.
Oh, I don't know what was in there. But clearly they were not responsible with it whatsoever.
Maybe it was rotten and they didn't realize it. It just lit.
Just a toy, a stupid, little, insignificant toy. Whoa. Why would Andy want me?
Why would Andy want you? Look at you! Any other toy would give up his moving parts just to be you. You are a cool toy. As a matter of fact, you're too cool. All I can do is...
It's the line.
Why would Andy ever want to play with me when he's got you?
Seriously, it's such fantastic emotional pacing. Everything flows so beautifully together. I love that the light gets warmer and warmer as the scene progresses subtly, and then it culminates in the daybreak as Buzz finally regains his confidence. It starts off a really, really dark scene. They're all coated in this kind of cool blue dim light, and then it's as the scene progresses, it gets slowly warmer.
Oh, he's gone.
Like I said earlier, superficial elements can work really well. I talk a lot about how movies will often use the lighting to trick you into feeling a certain emotion when the script doesn't support that emotion. But when all the elements can come together and synergize with a common goal, they can craft incredible movies. Especially because it's not some artificial light source that they just dialed up and down. It's the sun rising, so it makes sense for the light in the room to get much warmer. Also, that scene was originally going to be a lot longer, but I'm very happy that they kept it as it was, because it would have really thrown off the emotional pacing that I was talking about.
Oh no. Ow. What kid sleeps like that?
I don't even know what I look like when I sleep. See, I would have criticized the fact that Sid doesn't wake up from the toolbox slamming on the ground, but then I remember that I slept through hurricanes tearing over my head without even realizing it.
You'd be surprised what you can sleep through if you are tired enough.
Yeah, there have been plenty of loud noises that occurred in my immediate vicinity that have had no impact on my sleep cycle. Like I just said, I slept through a damn hurricane. Twice.
Yeah.
He's gonna be blown to bits in a few minutes. All because of me. We gotta save him. He's my friend. He's the only one I've got.
I love how vulnerable Woody is in this scene. Because it's his only chance to rescue Buzz, who he's basically on his hands and knees begging. It's the moment where you see how far he's come from trying to shove Buzz behind the desk to putting himself on the line in many different ways to try to rescue him. Did you ever have to move as a kid?
No.
I did. We moved when I was like 5 years old. I don't remember much about it except that my house slowly had less and less stuff in it, and it was all shoved into trash bags.
Why trash bags?
They can more easily crumple up. They're cheaper.
That makes sense.
A lot of people will store stuff like that in trash bags. Also, it's great to see that, because Woody's in such unfamiliar territory here, but he's still able to be very commanding and confident in coming up with a plan as to how he's going to get past Scud and get out into the backyard. And he's going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Everybody wins. Well, I guess except for Sid, but, you know.
Nah, but who cares about Sid?
He tortures toys, just for fun. I remember when doorbells used to look like that. So, as someone who owns a dog, can you confirm whether or not dogs are easily distracted by things like this?
Depends if they like it.
Well, I wouldn't say he likes it.
Because I know... No, I mean if it's like a toy that they like.
Well, what I mean is that, like, obviously Scud doesn't like the toy, he wants to eat it, but I assume you mean just, like, whether he actually wants to go for it.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll throw something for my dog to chase, and they'll just stare at me, stare at the thing I threw, and go back to taking a nap. They're like, good try, don't care.
Why did you waste my time, human? That was a lot of energy you just wasted. You could have used that to do something productive instead.
No, there have been so many times where I'm just like, you want the toy? You want the toy? Go get it! And then the dog just stares at me and is like, you're an idiot! And I'm like, thanks! I guess I'll just sit here too. Well, this is gonna be creepy. There's a match.
Could you even imagine if you were a kid in this situation and you saw what's about to happen here?
My parents didn't let me near matches.
Oh, I mean, mine either. My parents would never let me get near a matchbook until I was, like, high school, at least, I'd say. But I mean just this. Like, if I heard that, I'd probably think that's weird. I don't know why his voice box is malfunctioning. But as soon as I heard this...
Oh, the toy's haunted!
So I ask again, if you're a kid in this situation...
Do you understand why I found this movie terrifying?
Well, like I said, I completely understand this movie freaking the shit out of anybody. There's a lot of genuine horror elements to this movie. I completely understand why anyone would be terrified by it. That's what I'm saying now. Could you even imagine? You see something rise out of the sandbox and start swarming you? A spider toy grabs your hair? Like, what do you even think? And it's especially dark because for the rest of his life, he's going to try to explain what happened to people, and nobody's ever going to believe him. Would you?
No.
Of course not.
So play nice.
Nobody would ever believe anything. Anytime he tries to tell a therapist or his parents or anybody what just happened, they're gonna think he's delusional, which makes it even darker because he's gonna have to live his whole life thinking he was he was crazy or just living in fear of any toy like this. I do like this. You might say it's a bit of a cruel punishment for him, but also
no, it's exactly what a younger sibling would do.
No, I mean, like, you might say it's cool for the toys to do this to him, but he tortured the toys for fun, so...
He deserves it.
Like, a lot of people are quick to come to Sid's defense, since he obviously didn't know that he was torturing living sentient toys, but the thing I usually say in response is that he destroyed his sister's toys. If it was just his own toys, then I'd be like, alright,
Duck!
I'd be like, he's a bit sadistic, but you can almost call him an artist in a certain light. You could call him artistic with how he forges different parts into new toys, but messing with his sister's stuff is what pushes me over the edge on my feelings about Sid. It's why I like that at the end, Hannah gets a little bit of power over her brother, because after he put her through the ringer for so long, she can finally push back against his behavior, so...
That's also exactly what a younger sibling would do if they found out you were scared of something.
This whole final battle, the climax of this movie, it's the absolute perfect situation to have a chase like this, because it's first thing in the morning, the sun has just risen, nobody's awake yet, except for me because I'm crazy, but most people don't wake up this early. The only people that are up right now are going to be Andy and his mom, because they're moving, and Sid because he wanted to wake up early so that he could launch the rocket and had to wait for the storm to clear. And anybody else who would be out and about this early would be driving to work. And it's like, if
they saw it, they'd just be like, I'm tired.
But yeah, it's like, if you're on the road and you're going to work, you're not going to stop to think anything of the toys that are going to be on the road here, other than, these dang kids left the toys in the road again. So it's the perfect situation to have an all-out action-packed climax in such a public location. They really took the time to think about how this all could work. That moment seeing where Buzz leaps onto Scud to save Woody will never not be satisfying to me. I'll always love watching that. It's just, the driving force of these movies is always Woody and Buzz and their undying friendship. It's just being able to see how far they've come and to help each other is awesome.
Yeah.
RC to the rescue!
Get in the car, RC! No! Buzz, get in the car!
And it keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time, because you know exactly why everybody in this scene wants to do what they're doing. Obviously, Scud wants to eat Buzz and Woody, because he's a dog and they're evil.
Is this why you're scared of dogs? This is why you're scared of dogs, isn't it?
I think that this movie played a pretty big role in it, because those shots where Scud is, like, the entire frame, and he's running towards the camera. Yeah, Scud's terrifying. I think this movie plays a pretty significant role in my hatred of dogs. What I was gonna say is that you understand why everyone wants to do what they do. It makes complete sense for the other toys to want to throw Woody off the truck, and it adds that extra element of tension in there. And by the way, that right there, I'm assuming you would have been very upset had they killed this dog.
Yes!
I'm glad they kept him alive, so that people who religiously worship dogs like they're on some higher plane of existence aren't biased.
You don't want to kill a dog! They literally just threw Woody off the.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to want to throw him off the truck, because as far as they're concerned, he killed
there they
Buzz.
go!
Hey, Thinkway
No
Toys,
animals.
why didn't you give me a turbo mode on the RC remote? I wanted a turbo mode. Why didn't you give me turbo mode? I mean, credit where credit is due, it did have other cool features. Like, you could talk to it and it would respond to you. You can set it to free roam mode. And you can command it to follow you around just like a little pet.
Telling the truth.
You're just now realizing you get. God.
What? They wouldn't have any reason to suspect that Buzz is alive. They saw his arm dismembered.
No, I know, but
they
like.
have no reason in the world to suspect that Woody is lying. But the second they realized that he wasn't lying, he was telling the truth, they immediately jumped to try to help him. Like, there's no ego sense of that we're wrong, therefore we don't want to admit that we're wrong. No, they immediately leap into action and try to get them on board this moving truck.
Oh, what? Oh. Why is the child in the front seat?
Oh yeah, most irresponsible parent award of the year goes to Andy's mom. But what I was gonna say, they even put in detail, if you look really close, they show that the ramp doesn't just grind against the ground forever. There's the initial bump of it landing on the street, but then it just sort of hovers above the street, so the drivers have no reason to notice that. There's gonna be that initial burst of, hey, what the hell was that back there? But then they just keep on driving. They really put in the legwork so that they would have all the logical reasons in the world to have such an epic chase like this.
The match went out!
I love that they actually subvert the typical Chekhov's gun, because you expect the match to come into play. It's pretty deliberate when Sid shoves the match into his holster, like, that's a surprise tool that'll help us later. But then they don't even use it. They rip out that rug from underneath you. And it's actually Sid's torture methods that end up saving the day. Because that you don't expect to come into play later. You have no reason to suspect that Sid torturing Woody is what's going to allow him to give him the idea to save the day. It's such a great subversion of that trope.
35!
I just lit a rocket! Rockets explode! If you're in these cars on the road in the morning, you're not gonna think anything of it. It's like, oh, I guess some kid.
I would wonder what child sent this down the road.
Well, yeah, what you're gonna think is, what is up with these kids today sending rocket-propelled RC cars down the road? But here's what you're not gonna think. Oh my god, toys are alive!
Oh no! We're taking 5.
This is the part where we blow up. Not today. And just when it looks like all hope is lost, up, and away!
We're flying!
Hey, Buzz! You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling.
It's such an amazing moment.
To infinity and beyond!
The whole film builds up to this one big release at the end. That music swell and just the unbridled joy on their faces. It only works because the other scenes all work to set this up. Like, character-wise, in terms of them bonding and learning to work together, and because it gives Buzz the moment to fly like he always wanted to. The whole movie exists to build to that payoff of them getting to soar over the world together. It's so good. Hey, see, look, it's Christmas time now. This is why this marathon is a holiday special. It's why it's releasing in December. Look, a Christmas tree. Get it? See, it's Christmas.
Christmas tree.
There's my justification for it being Christmas. And they bring it all full circle, and we end the movie the way it began, with Operation Recon Plan Charlie.
I don't remember what he got.
Wait, you don't remember what Andy's big present was for Christmas?
No? Why would I?
Oh, no reason. No reason in particular.
I forgot this movie ended with Christmas.
You are not worried, are you? By the way, I didn't know toys use lipstick.
That's what I was about to say.
Listen closely to what Andy's present is here.
Oh, what is it? What is it? Wow, a puppy!
I think you're probably well, I know other kids who didn't want a puppy because they were scared of dogs. That's a lie.
So, what did you think of the first Toy Story movie?
Oh, I remember it. It was good.
Any further thoughts beyond that?
Listen, you're gonna be prying teeth here for a while. No, I don't think so.
Alright.
I remember why Buzz was my favorite character in these movies, though. I don't know, his arc is just very good, and he's also just a fun character. It's a very well-rounded arc.
Like I said, his journey for this movie didn't really sink in with me until I was an adult, because it's the idea of you won't go sailing anymore being a parallel for growing up and having to deal with all the adulting things. It works on two levels. It works for the characters, and it works for you as an audience member as you grow up. Never gets old, no matter how many times. Since it appears I'm gonna have to take the lead here in terms of giving thoughts on the movie. Never gets old, no matter how many times I watch it. It's such a classic. It's remarkable how well Toy Story has aged, because it was such a groundbreaking cinematic achievement. Nobody had ever seen anything like this before.
Oh yeah, it was good then and still good now.
Like CGI.
It's kind of like a timeless tale. Yeah, timeless tale. That's the word I'm looking for.
Previously, CGI was relegated to just small chunks of movies like The Cave of Wonders and Aladdin, obviously that's CGI, The Ballroom Dance and Beauty and the Beast, but a full-length computer-animated movie, that was unheard of. But Pixar took the world by storm, not only with its technical prowess of the animation, but it's just a damn good story. The pacing is perfect. That flew by. That, even with the break in the middle that we had because technical difficulties.
Yeah.
The movie's only 77 minutes long, and not a single one of them is wasted. And it's...
I just closed the wrong window! I was closing a tab, and I accidentally closed Discord.
Okay, then.
You said, I heard this, it's like, even with the technical difficulties we had, it closes Discord.
I see. So what I was gonna say is that I'm probably gonna ask you after this is all over what you think the funniest one is. 'Cause a lot of people will argue that this is the funniest of the series.
I think it's one.
I might be inclined to agree. I'm not sure.
I don't remember there being a lot of jokes in the other one, so I think, yeah, it's probably gonna end up being one.
Toy Story is the perfect combination of smart writing, comical animation, and really talented voice acting. The heart of the story being Woody and Buzz's development is just fantastic. Their dynamic is entertaining from start to finish. Both characters are really smart. They both get their moments to shine, with Woody concocting a plan to rescue Buzz always taking precautions and using the full suite of his skills to his advantage in every situation he's in, whether it's infiltrating Pizza Planet or even up to the very end where he comes up with a plan to use his wings to save the day by breaking free of the rocket. It's nice that they actually take care as to not be spotted by humans. They're actually concerned about staying under the radar. And Woody's just a really relatable guy. He wasn't gonna be, because like I said, the original version had him be much, much meaner. I think it's safe to say that sense of jealousy has probably overtaken all of us at one point or another for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he clearly doesn't mean any true harm towards Buzz. And he's immediately concerned. His personal feelings about him aside, the second he gets knocked out the window, he's very, very worried about him. Plus, look, I think you'd be annoyed by Buzz too if he was constantly talking such nonsense.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely. I felt Woody's annoyance of wanting to slap this man upside the head.
But also, because a lot of people will call Buzz stupid because he thinks he's a toy, but it's like that's called being ignorant, not being stupid.
No, that's called that's called being. I know that I'm right, but I just don't know how to convince you of this fact.
it's fundamental to his programming as a toy. He believes wholeheartedly he is a space ranger, and he thinks it's his mission to save the universe, and he cares about people. He wanted to protect Combat Carl, even if it meant blowing himself up. It's so great how they because Buzz is really funny and entertaining as a character in the first half, and then in the second half, he just becomes this immensely relatable guy when his arc really starts to come to fruition. What you can really take away from his journey is the message of, you don't have to be special to be special. That's, you can take the plot of, you don't have to be a space ranger to be loved by Andy, to you don't have to be someone super special to be really special to someone. And that's a message that just transcends time. It is so well executed, and it pays off in the climax with the lengths they're willing to go to save each other in that final battle, with Woody risking everything to get Buzz out of Sid's house alive when he could easily just make a break for the exit and go jump on the moving van. Buzz literally leaping onto this monstrous dog to save Woody's life from being eaten. Seeing how far they'll go to protect each other after the whole movie is so satisfying to watch. And one of my favorite scenes is the one between them while Sid is sleeping. It's just a really grounded character moment. It doesn't feel forced. It feels 100% earned all the way throughout. And obviously the I Will Go Sailing No More scene is just beautiful. Genuinely masterful craftsmanship. Thematically, character-wise, story-wise, musically, it all works together to bring Buzz's arc to a peak, and it's just perfectly punctuated by his falling with style payoff in the climax. It's how annoyed do you get when people say it's just a silly kids movie about things like How to Train Your Dragon?
I hate the opinion that animation is only for kids, because I think the animation can tell some great stories that you can't tell with live action. Just because it has more range to do, like, more crazy things.
Yeah, like, if you try to
be able to justify them.
If you try to tell Toy Story in live action, I don't think it would work, because watching actual
Don't manifest that into reality.
I hope not. I hope they don't try to pull that, because that's going to be horrifying if they ever do. Yeah, like, I really don't like it when people say, well, it's just a kid's movie, so why do you... People say it in both directions. Either, why is it a kid's movie, so why are you being so hard on it? Or, why is it a kid's movie, so why are you praising it like it's some masterpiece? It's like, I don't care that it's a kid's movie. It tackles some pretty mature themes gracefully, in a way that speaks to adults, but also doesn't alienate the kids. Because when you're a kid... when you watch that
kids
scene,
are smarter than you give them credit for.
They are.
Or, yeah, that's the moral of that story.
Kids pick up on these things, because there's certain things that obviously you don't want a child to see. You wouldn't put anything that's sexually explicit in a kid's movie.
Unless you're in France.
But that doesn't mean you can't have mature themes and really...
That was a really... I said a really bad joke that you just...
I'm gonna pretend that nothing... We're gonna move along. Okay,
keep going.
But there's things like that you don't put in a movie like that. But that doesn't mean you can't dip into a more mature, darker realm with your storytelling, thematically speaking. And like I said, when you watch the I Will Go Sailing No More scene as a kid, you just want Buzz to fly. But as an adult, you understand it on a whole other level. And some kids are going to be able to pick up on the stuff that they're putting down. It doesn't treat its audience like a bunch of idiots. And the tone shift is really smooth. From the happy-go-lucky first act to the more almost horror-driven second act. It communicates a sense of danger without, well, I was going to say without terrifying kids. I think it's pretty clear that it's definitely going to unsettle some kids, but I don't think it ever crosses a forbidden line where any kid would be scarred for life watching this movie. I think it communicates that sense of danger in a way that's very well thought out. It's a timeless classic that revolutionized the medium of animation forever, and I love it to bits. If you were to give the movie a score, like out of 10, what would you give it?
8.5.
Really? 8.5?
Yeah.
That's higher than I would give it.
For the first one?
Yeah, I would give this film a 7.
I think the story's very... not well, rather. It tells a very concrete story from beginning to end. All the character arcs are good. There's like one or two things that I wish were either dwelled upon more or not, or just removed altogether, because I didn't see the point in it.
What would you say those things are?
This is gonna sound like a hot take. Bo Peep. did not feel as relevant to the story as I think she should have been. Which, now that I think about it, is probably why she wasn't in Toy Story 3.
Oh, the reason why she wasn't in Toy Story 3 is because she would have died many times in many different scenes.
Yeah, I'm like thinking about, which is probably why she was in Toy Story 3 for multiple reasons, but, I feel like Bo Peep just could have been, I feel like, given her relationship to Woody, she should have had a more active role in the story.
I mean,
I'm saying that in like comparison to the other toys who were left at the house, not like into Woody and Buzz. Woody and Buzz should have definitely had the most time. No questions asked.
I think compared to the other toys, she probably does get the most to do because she's the one that Woody actually confides in for.
Yeah, but I feel like Mr. Potato Head actually had more of like the central figure of the other toys.
He was the antagonistic force. Like, he was the most one who most directly stood in opposition to Woody, certainly. But Woody definitely confided in her.
I think she was the confidant, but I think for that same reason that she should have been more of at least up until the whole severed arm thing. She should have done more in defense of Woody. I feel like she just kind of accepted that they were throwing him out a window.
Oh, I don't think that she was, because she's not a very, her physical form doesn't allow her to be very active, like,
yeah, no, I know physically, but I mean just in general. That's what
the next thing I was gonna say.
One thing.
The next thing I was gonna say is that she does say, she's like, "Would you boys stop it?" She's trying to break up the fight using whatever verbal means she has available to her.
I think I just have well, that's just all I gotta say is that I wish that Bo Peep did more in this movie. I mean, it's not like she did nothing. There's a reason why I gave it an 8.5. I think pretty much most of the aspects of this movie are working in good ways and doing good things.
I mean,
I'm just being nitpicky.
Well, I give the movie a lower score than you because I don't like the fact that the gas station scene is very contrived in that Andy's mom doesn't actually pump the gas. They pull up to the gas station, they say, "We're gonna pump the gas," they go inside, they come out, and they leave. Like, that's...
I think there are probably a few scenes that could have been, yeah, there are a few scenes that probably either could have been reworked, or, done better. I think that Andy would have noticed that the toy wasn't in the car anymore before they pulled out of the gas station. Given how distraught he was at the moment of having just lost a different toy. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Not necessarily. I mean, he was... Their main focus was going to Pizza Planet, and he wasn't...
Yeah, I know, but that's just my 2 cents.
He wasn't particularly focused on playing... If he had been playing with them when he got there, maybe. Or, like, when he was already in the... When he was already in the car, maybe.
Yeah, but, yeah, it's a solid movie. Solid. Yeah, solid.
I'm glad we're off to a good start with your enjoyment, because it could have very easily been that you just hated this and didn't want to keep going after this, so I'm glad... I'm glad to hear you had a positive reaction to this movie, but...
I mean, I never said I hated the movie, I just said I'm not a big fan of it.
I didn't say you said that, I'm saying it's possible that upon watching it again, you could have not liked it at all and not wanted to continue watching after this. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But, next up is the really contentious one, because you've teased that you don't remember liking Toy Story 2.
Yeah, I don't.
I guess we can go into more detail about that next week, but that's what makes Toy Story 2 my most anticipated one for this marathon.
You may just be really disappointed in my reaction.
I'm just curious to find out if we can identify what made you not like it the first time, and if you still don't like it upon rewatching it. That's really all I'm interested in finding out here, is pinpointing what about it was the breaking point, and seeing your updated thoughts. But that'll be it for now. Thank you all for watching this commentary track. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll be back next week for Toy Story 2. Goodbye. Don't go just yet. We forgot to do a little something. We were so swept up in the excitement of recording the Toy Story movies that we forgot to actually give you the answer to the poll that we posed at the beginning of this thing. So, would you like to reveal the truth?
Come back.
Yeah. This is a week. This is a week and a half after we recorded it the first time, and she's.
I managed to leave the country and come back to where I was. In the time it took us to reveal this answer.
Also, excuse her audio quality. This is a very on-the-fly, impromptu Discord recording. She's currently walking through a wind tunnel.
No, I'm free in London, drinking a milkshake, about to go into a tube station because I need to take the train home.
Would you like
drum roll, please?
You can't hear it, but I am drum rolling.
The answer is the oldest person by a whole 4-ish months. It's Vinny!
I'm glad you answered that quickly because my arms are getting tired of drumming. Also, it occurs to me the more I've thought about this that we think people won't be able to guess it, but the fact that we're posing the question in the first place might make people lean towards you as the answer because, like, for instance, with you and your sister, I always assumed before you actually told me that she was, also, seriously, you were walking through a wind tunnel.
No, I'm just standing next to a road.
I see. I never would have guessed that you were actually older than her. But if you asked me, hey, which of the two of us do you think is older? I would have been like, wait a second, this seems too easy. Why are you asking me this question exactly? It can't be this easy. So, who knows? Maybe they guessed it, maybe they didn't. Oh, and I guess one other update we can provide. You asked me if I bought my Black Panther tickets in the recording. Well, now you've seen the movie, so go ahead, deliver your thoughts, update the audience on what you thought.
I really liked it. It was very good. I was asked after the movie which one I liked better, and I had to take a day to think about it, and I gave Black Panther a 9 out of 10, and I gave Black Panther 2 an 8 out of 10, because there was one plotline in Black Panther 2 that I don't like, but aside from that, I like everything else about the movie. Because it's such a minute background plotline that it doesn't really matter to the overall plot, which is probably why I don't like it.
I still haven't seen it, but there are certain thoughts on it. I think that's everything we wanted to cover, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we can actually end the video proper. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.